Social cognitive theory. Social cognitive theories focus the importance of socialization and the effect of thought processes to create one's unique patterning of behavior. Cognitive psychologists attempt to explain human behavior by understanding the mental learning processes. They assume that human beings are rational, being capable of making sensible choices that benefits them. Cognitive psychologists view behavior as a function of cognition, learning, and experiences in the environment. They assert that people organize their values, expectations, and goals to guide and direct behavior. This set of personal standards is unique in each person and grow out of one's life experiences. Over the decades, social cognitive psychologists have been developing theories in an attempt to explain the complexity by careful observation of the human behaviors with the environment and their relation. They posit that each of the mechanisms, for example, self-regulatory goals mechanism, self-reflective capabilities, and the cognitive constructs possesses a spectrum of possible inputs. These mechanisms are contextualized by these social learning processes, which cause some input to become particularly salient to an individual or a group with other inputs into an equivalent class and are domain specific. 1. Albert Bandura Social Cognitive Theory. Bandura, a follower of behaviorism, attempts to integrate the behavioral and cognitive perspectives to explain personality. He found the stimulus response theory that pleasure begets pleasure and pain begets pain to simplicity and can be mooted. He creates a gap between stimulus and response. The gap is to allow the intellect to predict the motives of a stimulus, generate alternatives, and anticipate the outcome of each alternative before choosing a response that makes the most sense in a situation. Bandura perceives individual functioning as a continuous interaction among behavioral, cognitive, and environmental factors. The three fundamental principles of the social cognitive approaches are: personality is a complex system, reciprocal interactionism, personality variables. Furthermore, social cognitive theories postulate that the intuitive and perceived sense of coherence and consistency in personality, self, character can arise from three sources. How people assign meanings to social stimuli, how people establish causal linkage over their lives through self-reflective and self-knowledge processes, and how people organize separate and multiple experiences and life events with a larger cognitive framework of goals, expectation, and inspiration. Michel created a paradigm crisis in personality psychology that changed the agenda of the field for decades. Michel showed that researchers fail to support the fundamental traditional assumption of personality theory that an individual behavior with regard to a trait is highly consistent across diverse situations. Instead, Michel analysis revealed that the individual behavior, when closely examined, was highly dependent upon situational cues rather than expressed consistently across diverse situations that differs in meaning. Michel made the case that the field of personality psychology was searching for consistency in the wrong places. Michel's work proposed that by including the situation as it is perceived by the person and by analyzing behavior in its situational context, the consistency that characterized the individual would be found. He argued that these individual differences would not be expressed in consistent cross-situational behavior, but instead he suggested that consistency would be found in distinctive but stable pattern of if-then situation behavior relation that form contextualized psychological meaningful personality signature. For example, she does A when X, but B when Y. These signatures of personalities were in fact revealed in a large observation study of social behavior across multiple repeated situations over time. Contradicting the classical assumption, the data showed that individuals who were similar in average level of behavior, for example in their aggression, nevertheless differ predictably and dramatically in the types of situations in which they aggress. As predicted by Michel, they were characterized by highly psychological, informative if-then behavioral signature. Collectively, this has worked in a new way to conceptualize and assess both stability and variability of behavior that is produced by the underlying personality systems and has opened a window into the dynamic process within the system itself.